What's going on, everyone? Happy December 1st. This is officially day one of my live a day challenge. Hello, 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 hello. My people coming on, my people coming on. I'm looking kind of cray today, you know. Keeping it all natural tonight. What's going on? How's everybody doing today? Can you believe it's December already? I can't. It's crazy. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I love seeing you guys. What's up? How's everybody doing? Ooh, Florida. Hey, how's the weather down there? Probably perfect. Well, we're over here freezing in Indiana. What's going on? Trying to wave to everybody. Oh, you can't wait till the year is over? Why is, well, I was gonna ask why is that, but you know, 2020. I'm actually excited for the year to end too, but I feel like 2021 isn't gonna be that much different. I'm gonna set new goals though, but I feel like in regards to like COVID and the struggle bus, I think is still gonna be running strong. But that's okay, because there is an end. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Aniston's mommy. My dad is good. My dad is really good. He is pretty much back to himself. He's still doing some chemo. But he only does like I think once a week now. And he is feeling good. He's looking good. I haven't seen him. I duo him sometimes, but I haven't actually seen him in person in quite some time. It's been almost a year. I think the last time I saw him was it New Year's last year? Or this year, early this year. So that was the last time I saw him, but hopefully I'll get to see him soon with COVID and everything, and under the circumstances, like even though we've all stayed healthy and everything, like I don't know if I really want to take the chance of possibly being a carrier. Priscilla, how is your sister? My sister is really good. She's doing her thing, she has a website. It's rootedandembodied.com, and she is doing really amazing things. She does somatic experiencing, and somatic experiencing is like so basically all of our past traumas and all of our the issues that maybe the things that we experience in our lives can manifest in our bodies in the form of like pain, sickness, just any type of physical manifestation. So she helps people to get to the root of those things so that you can face it and be free from it. And right now we're doing this thing. It's called the Embodied Gatherings with Resma Menachem, who is amazing. And I told you guys in the vlogs about his book, My Grandmother's Hands. And he does a lot of just racial trauma awareness, basically. And it's really powerful. So we've been doing that. She's doing her thing. What's going on? It's cold tonight. Yeah, that's an understatement. It is freezing. It snowed in Indiana yesterday. I couldn't believe it. Thank God it didn't accumulate. But man, not happy. But it is, what is it? It is December now. So it's kind of like we have had a really long fall, which is good. So I'm not complaining. What's going on, everybody? Those of you just joining, Can we go live, please? Maybe. I'm hesitant. Like, I do want to do us. I was thinking about this earlier today. I'm like, I want to do a lot of things on lives, but I think today I just want to like chat with you guys instead of like doing like a tutorial or anything like that. But I have thought about maybe like doing a Q&A, but like letting you guys go live with me to ask the question. But that can be, you know, most of y'all are my peeps, you know what I'm saying? But some people just ruin it for everybody. So I'm not sure about that one yet. Am I talking about Kareen? Yes, that's who I was talking about. That's my sissy. How's everybody doing? What is your day looking like? Footwear 17. You're in Indiana and it's cold. I'm in Indiana too. It is freezing. Ugh. Snowstorm in Ohio? Oof, oof. You had flurries in Tennessee? Usually Tennessee is like a solid 10 degrees warmer, which I guess, you know, 10 degrees from 30 is only 40, so I guess that makes sense. But sheesh. Snowstorm in Pittsburgh? All the haters can get blocked. You right about that one. No shame in my blocking game. You're in Maryland and it's cold to you. What's the temperature out there? Take your time to get comfortable. The Bronx, really? It was nice in New York today? That's way up north. 30 degrees in, okay, in VA, Virginia. Ooh, what's up, Kenya? Wow, I feel honored. Thanks for joining me at 2 o'clock in the morning. Got Kenya in the house. Love it. Last night the weather had my lights flick. Really? Where in Indiana are you? Assign a moderator. I should do that, actually. 45 in Orlando. What? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, Bree, you're in Indiana too. We got a lot of Indiana folks up in here. So today I want to talk a little bit. Today's been a good day. It's been a good day, but it's been a rough day. You know, I want to talk about opposition today. You know, I was going to avoid this. The Lord put it on my heart and I was really about to ignore him. Let's be honest. But I just feel so strong that I need to talk about this. So, walking with the Lord, those of you who do love the Lord and walk with the Lord, is a tricky thing. It's tricky. It is so wonderful and like I don't know how people live this life without God. I really don't, because man, it's hard to make it with God. So I can't imagine what it would be like to live without God. 0 in Toronto? What? Yeah, no thanks. Yikes. Anyway, I'm gonna stop procrastinating to talk about this. Walking with God, and I feel like purpose is like been kind of my focus this year is just finding my purpose. Like figuring out exactly what God wants me to do with my life, because I've always, like, I do hair. Those of you who have been following me know that I've been doing hair for almost 20 years. Life with God is tough. It is so tough. Can you imagine without him? I don't know how people do it, for real. But I remember when I first started working at the salon that I'm at now, and I absolutely love working there. I love the girls that work there. We are a family, and like we've been through so much with each other, and like all of us have been in the salon for the last, I think the person who's been there the least amount of time has been there for 16 years. 16 years? Yeah. So I've been at that salon for, I believe it's been 17 years, but doing hair for 19. And I remember just seeing these women, because the owner of the salon, she works so hard. Like I have never met anybody that works harder than that woman. Like, she is a beast. And I just remember thinking, like, I don't want to spend the rest of my life doing this. Like, not that I don't love doing hair, because I really do love doing hair. What is up, Cheddar? How you doing? Um, Life with God outweighs life without him. Oh, for sure. You are right about that. Anyway, so I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm a hard worker. Like, that's one thing. Like, my work ethic is not in question. It's just that I don't want to be in a position to where I have to work that hard forever. You know what I mean? Like, at some point in your life, whether it be like 50s or 60s, whatever, like, your money's got to, work for you, right? So I just remember thinking, like, I don't want to do this forever. So I've just been like on this mission this year. I don't know what it is about this year. I really prayed specifically last year for the Lord to work on some things in me. And you know how it goes. Like, when you ask the Lord for patience, you don't want to do that. I mean, you do want to do that, but you really don't want to do that, but you do. You know what I'm saying? So I asked the Lord to help me, not necessarily with patience, but like with other really important aspects of my life. And he's doing it. And it's hard. And like, Travis and I today had to make some really important decisions, like, in order to move us forward, like, and put us in a position to have more and to reach for more and to be able to do more for people and things like that. You think Pot needs to be... Oh, Tink Pot. See, people like that who don't show their face, they have no backbone, and you really just have to pray for them, because clearly they just have issues. But everybody wants to find their purpose. Everybody wants to find their purpose. Everybody wants to, hold on 1 second. There we go. Kick that heifer out. Everybody wants to live an Ephesians 3:20 life. Everybody wants to do in their career and just in their lives in general what they were created for. But there's a process to that. It's not like you're gonna go from 0 to 1,000. When you ask the Lord for something, you have to be specific, because if not, you will get what you ask for. Oof. Asking for fresh purpose in your life instead of patience. That's the truth. You haven't missed much, girl. Anyway, so there's a process. You're not gonna go from 0 to 100 just like that. Like, you have to go through a refining process, and like, there are layers to it. It's like an onion. You just have to peel back all of the layers until you get to where you need to be, and like, each layer has a purpose. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like my life is so interesting. Like, when you think back at like everything that you've been through, even if it's been like so horrific, even something so horrific has refined you in a really important way. Like, I mean, even deaths. Like, if my grandmother never passed away, then we would have never moved to Indiana. If we never moved to Indiana, which was miserable at first. I hated Bloomington so much. I still don't like Bloomington, which is why I live in Indy now. But that was so hard. But if I never moved to Indiana, I call Bloomington my incubator phase of life, where I was in a position because I used to be the kind of person that didn't know how to be alone. I used to be the kind of person that always had to be hanging out with somebody, always had to be around people, always had to be like entertained. But I went from having that to being stripped of all of it. But it was so crucial for me. So I was in a position where I did have my family, but you know how it is. Like, you don't have your friends, you don't have those distractions and all those things. And, it put me in the position to just be alone with God. So the reason why I moved to Indiana was because I was in an abusive relationship and I didn't know how to get away from him. It's not that, like, we were in a position where it was emotionally abusive. He did hit me a couple of times before, and I was like super young, like right out of high school. And there were 2 occasions where he did that, and of course, he apologized. And I don't think he's a bad person. I think that he just had a really bad moment. He had a really bad phase of life, and I do believe that he was sorry. Never did it again, but I knew that I had to get away from him regardless. Like, I can forgive you, but also understand that I need to get away from you. You know what I mean? So I had been at a really low point in my life, and this is before I turned my life over to the Lord. And imagine not, being in a low place and not having God, really, not even knowing what it really means. Because, my mom was always ministered to me, but she never forced it on me, which I'm super grateful for. But it wasn't until I got to that point where I was like, okay, I can't do this. Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I have to do something extreme. And this opportunity came for us to move to Indiana. My mom wanted to take care of my grandfather because he grew up in Ellettsville, Indiana. And hey, I just want to know how. Oh, thank you so much. It really blesses me. That's why I'm so open and vulnerable with you guys. Like, so many people are like, you just be telling them too much. I'm like, I don't have anything to hide. Like, there's no point in, like, granted, there are some things that I don't need to be sharing immediately, but I'm not ashamed to share with you guys the things that are going on in my life, because like that's my way of like ministering. Because we're all doing this together. We're all on the same level, just in regards to life. Like, life is hard for everybody, but if everybody was quiet about what they were going through, then everybody would feel like they're the only one going through it. So if we had more people being real, raw, and honest about what they're experiencing, how they're feeling, what they're battling, then I feel like people wouldn't be struggling as much as a whole, because we would know that we're not crazy, we're not alone. You know what I mean? So it really blesses me to know that I've helped you, because honestly, being vulnerable and being open has helped me also. Thank you so much. Um, so anyway, I was just saying, everything that we go through is an experience to refine us. So I think that, a lot of people need to be reminded of that, because times get hard, and we can be negative sometimes about it, myself included. Like, even though, like, I know I always talk about in my vlogs, like, how I used to be I was such a negative person, and I didn't even realize it. I'm like, I'm not negative, I'm a realist. Like, that's what I always say, or I always said. But it's like, there's a point to, like, life sucks sometimes, and it is hard. But if you're always such a realist, you're always seeing the negative. Like, if you shift your perspective and look at what good is coming out of this negative situation, then if you focus on the positive in the negative, then you see more positive. You know what I mean? What's your question? And Angel Love 2015, go ahead and ask. But yeah, it's so important to just shift your perspective, because even though, things get hard, or money is low, or you have to make huge life changes that you may not necessarily want to make, there's always a reason for it, as long as you keep your eyes focused on the Lord. Like, the Lord will guide you, and that's the thing. Like, you have to be really sensitive in your spirit has to be really sensitive in order to discern whether what you're doing is God or what you're doing is you. And it can be a thin line, but only you can know in your own spirit what that is. So just stay encouraged, those of you who are having hard times. This year has been incredibly difficult for me in some ways, but also like the absolute best in other ways. But the ways that it's been a struggle are ways that it's never been that much of a struggle for me before. So it's just a challenge. Okay, what is your advice on gaining confidence and just getting yourself back after divorce? Whew. That's a good question. It's tough. You know, it's interesting because like, and I know this is like Satan is trying to tell me little things like, you are not married that long. You don't have the right to tell anybody anything about, but no, like, it doesn't matter how long you were married. Like, marriage is marriage. And even though I was only married for a very short time, there's something about that label and that bond, that covenant, that it's so interesting because only people who have been married and divorced understand. And I say, like, I don't wish divorce on my worst enemy, but there's something that happens to you after you get divorced that shifts your perspective in a way that it couldn't shift unless you go through that particular experience. It's almost like, I always describe it as like I'm a champagne bottle that I was shaken up, and the cork got popped, and I was like, F everything, F everybody, F you, F this, F that. I was like, F everybody. You can't tell me nothing. I'm not trying to hear it. Screw all y'all. That's how I felt. But I had to go through that extreme. Like, I was like, you guys don't even know how much I was cussing at that time, because I didn't cuss on my vlogs and stuff. I say hell, and everybody's like, oh my god, you need to stop. That's not godly. That's what the haters say, like Tink Pot. She be saying stuff like that. But Lord, if you only knew the potty mouth I had. I would say just find something. This is what I did, and that's why I did hot yoga for a while. For a long while, really. I did hot yoga, and the reason why I did that was because I needed something to emotionally distract me. And I think there's something, this is probably a little twisted, but there's something about like how hard it was. Like, hot yoga is super hard. It is, I don't know if any of you have ever done it before. It is so hard to be in a room that's like 90, 95 degrees, sometimes 100 degrees, and be doing anything. Like, and yoga is hard. So there was something about the pain of it. I just remember, like, what I would tell myself is that the pain of this heat, I can't breathe, I'm really struggling right now, but it feels so much better than the pain in my heart and in my emotions. And I needed that. I needed it to get through it. And it's so funny because like once I stopped feeling the pain to the degree that I felt in the beginning, I stopped doing yoga, hot yoga, because I was like, I can't handle it. This junk is too hot. And I loved it, but it's just so, like, you have to find something that gets you excited. Find something. For me, it was fitness and yoga, and like, I love moving my body. I've always been a fitness junkie. I've always been a gym head, gym rat. But finding that one thing that I can escape from, like, that I can escape reality. So for me, that was yoga at the time, and that was like my go-to for an escape. And then just seeking the Lord, you know, like read devotional. And, you know, sometimes you go through phases, and let's be really real. Let's Christians not be all super spiritual, as Geraldine calls them, super saints. Sometimes we go through periods where I ain't trying to hear that sermon. I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to hear, I don't need to hear your scripture. Sometimes you just feel that way. I know I'm not the only one. I'm trying to stop cussing. It's a struggle, girl. Sometimes the F word is the best one to me. When you're really feeling stressed out or feeling, oh, that was my go-to word too, because it like releases adrenaline. When you say it, when you're like super frustrated and going through it, saying the F word like with intensity is almost it releases some type of adrenaline that is very soothing. um I forgot what I was saying now. What's going on, everybody? It does feel good, right? It does feel good to cuss. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, I was saying sometimes you don't want to, hear the scripture. Sometimes you don't want to hear the sermon. I went through a long period where like I just wanted to talk to God one on one. I just wanted to cry to Him. I just wanted to hear what He was saying. I didn't want to hear what this pastor was saying. I don't want to hear it. Okay? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the worship music. I don't want to hear any of that. I just want to hear God. That's it. Because like everybody else, I'm just not trying to hear you. So, if we're being honest here as a people of God, we all go through it. We all go through those seasons. And I feel like for me, my post-divorce was one of those things. It was one of those seasons where like I just wasn't trying to hear it. Like I just wasn't trying to hear it. Hey, Brian! Oh, Brian. I used to sing with Brian. I know you guys don't know who I'm talking about, but I sang on the praise teams with Brian. And honestly, that was another thing that got me through. Even though I was feeling the way that I felt, like singing with the worship team, man, it was embarrassing actually going back to church. But once I did, and I went to a campus that I didn't sing at originally, and they just welcomed me with open arms, and there was like no judgment. I think that I was really, really, I was embarrassed, like I waited 36 years to get married, and then I end up meeting this dude and made one of the biggest mistakes and also most important learning lessons of my life, and then having to go back and like be like, yeah, it's only been 0.2 seconds, but I'm single again. And having, you fear judgment, because I got criticized a lot by some super saints, but by the people that I went to church with, like they just loved on me and they supported me and not 1 ounce of judgment. And I just like that was really healing for me also. I think another thing to do when you're going through a divorce, sorry, I know this is a really long answer to your question, but is find your people. Like your people, like that's who's gonna get you through. Like I didn't have, okay, here's one thing about me. Like, it's not that I didn't have people I could have gone to, because I could have. I just didn't utilize them. Shame is so powerful. Yeah, oh my gosh. Larissa, oof, it is. Shame is so powerful. It can destroy you, and not because of what you did, but because of how you feel about what you did and your fear about how other people are going to look at you. And in the grand scheme of things, who freaking cares? Who cares what anybody thinks about you? And it's easier said than done, I know. Oh, Brene Brown says some good things about shame. Brene Brown's book, what is it? Oh shoot, it totally slipped my mind. The Gifts of Imperfection. That book is so good. I'm trying to think of when I read that years ago, I think at this point, but it is so good. And yeah, she talks all about shame and vulnerability. And that's why I continue to do my YouTube channel, because I felt like the Lord told me to. It was so humiliating, but it was the best thing that I could have ever done. It was very healing for me. It has also brought me to the point that I am now, which in the beginning of my YouTube journey, What's going on, everybody? Just coming in. In the beginning of my journey, I was very reserved. Obviously, I didn't know anything about it. Like, I was more shy, quiet. Um, I didn't know what to say, what not to say. But something about the things that I've gone through, like, I've gone through the hardest years, I think, on camera, like, on my vlogs. It's crazy because like all the other years, all those past years, I wish I knew about YouTube. I didn't even know about YouTube. How crazy is that? I didn't know anything about vloggers. Like I didn't even know what that was. I didn't know it was a thing until Gabrielle. Those of you, I think most of you know who Gabrielle is, but she came to sing at the church. She was singing at Heartland and she joined our team. And so I met her. I didn't know anything about it. And Missy was like, "Oh, these are the vloggers," and I'm like, "What is that?" Like what? And I started watching because I didn't know there were vloggers. I didn't know you could watch people's lives. I love reality TV. Actually, I used to love reality. I love real reality TV. So I actually love watching YouTube, the real couples, because there are some people who do stage things, but I like the people who are really real because I love seeing how people interact. I'm so fascinated with people, things that they do, how they think, the way that they live. Like, I don't know why, I just find it so interesting. So I started watching her and I was like, why would you want to share everything? But then, like, became like addicted to it. I just couldn't stop watching. I literally watched it every single day. I watched all the way back from the beginning with them and then watched all the way up until current. And I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, this is kind of cool. I think I can do this. So I was like, you know what? Like, I feel really inspired. I'm going to give this a try. And that's when I started my YouTube journey. But now I'm at a point in my journey where, and honestly, this has been kind of recent where I think I have battled a little bit about, oh, I have to be careful what I say. Oh, I can't say that. Oh, I have to edit that out because the judgmental people are gonna say something. Ooh, but now I'm at a point where, like, you know what? I am who I am. I have changed a lot, but like, I love who I am now, and I'm no longer afraid. I go on there looking busted and disgusted. Like, I wouldn't even leave the house the way I be looking sometimes on my vlogs. But I don't care. I just don't care because this is me. This is who I am. Like sometimes I can look really dolled up and sometimes I'll look busted. Like you found me on the bottom of your shoe. But I don't care. Okay? This is me in all of my glory. But it took a long time to get to the point to where I stopped caring. Everybody loves Gay Babe. They are awesome people. They really are. It's cool that you'll be able to look back and appreciate your own inner strength. Yeah, I never was like that before, and YouTube honestly helped me a lot with that because it made me realize like you want everybody to like you, but not everybody's gonna like you. Like, and that just goes for real life too. You can meet a group of people, they can be all nice to your face, but turn around and talk junk about you behind your. That's just life, and you just have to be confident in who you are, and that's not always easy even for me. Like sometimes the comments do get me, but I have to remind myself that I have so many of you. Like, when I tell you guys I appreciate you, I don't think you really understand. Like, it gives me life to, like, talk with you guys and to hear your stories and to, like, when I see you guys in the comments and you guys DM me and, like, even on these lives, like, I hated doing lives and I don't even have a reason for it. I think it was just because I was afraid of them. But now that the Lord told me to do this, like, I just love it. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone had look. Do you know how many times I wanted to say that on camera? But I just don't. You have a good sense of humor. Thank you. What is my YouTube? It's ShannaMarieB Vlogs. And I just love interacting with you guys. And it's so funny because like I've always been, and actually someone said this, so I feel like somebody wrote to me about this, that they have always ministered to young people, but they felt called to lead to adults. to lead adults, but they were afraid to lead adults because children are a little bit more impressionable and a little bit more like they look up to you. Like you're a role model and a big sister, and ooh, you're so cool. I want to be like you. But adults, hmm. Adults used to be want to, you just be want to slap them in the face with the communion tray. I don't want to give communion to you. I want to slap you in the face with it. But it's a little bit more challenging. But I have always been like a youth leader. I was really heavily involved in the high school ministry when I was in Bloomington, and I loved it. Like, oh, it was so great, but I always deep down felt like I needed to minister to adult women, and I was so intimidated by it because of that reason. But like I feel like my YouTube channel is my way of being able to do that. That's why like I always I try my hardest. If I have not responded to your message, it is not on purpose. Because I always try to respond to everybody. And especially if you're going through something challenging, because I know what it feels like to feel like you want to die and to feel like you can't continue, you can't push through, and to reach out to somebody and not have them respond is only, it's like pulling the trigger. And you know what I mean? It's so interesting how like you're so like when you're so sensitive like that, and going through such an emotionally hard time, and not getting a response from someone that you might look up to, that it really can be detrimental. And obviously like it wouldn't be my responsibility necessarily, but I consider it a privilege to be able to be there for anybody that needs me, or if you just, even if you just wanted to say hi. Like I always try to respond to everybody. So again, if I haven't responded to you, please forgive me. And sometimes I need a reminder. I have a lot going on. So if you're like, hey, just want to see if you got my message. But yeah, like I feel like my YouTube channel is my way to be able to minister to people, and it's allowed me, it's allowed me to have this platform to be able to talk to you guys, and you guys are just so freaking awesome. Like I totally understand now why the Lord wanted me to do the lives, because I was so resistant to doing lives for the longest, for years, honestly. Especially over the last couple years with the boutique, I never wanted to do lives. Um, I don't know why. But now that I did the first one the other day, and I literally had the best time. I ended the live just feeling like I was floating, and I was so excited, and I was like, oh my gosh, these people are the best. Like I love you guys so freaking much. The babies are here. Ignore the cat here, please.
It's my little poopy. Hi, puppy. Hey, little poopy poopy. Oh, this is my boy. Oh.
He's so cute. I love my babies. Thank you. I try to be selfless. I'm not always, but I am trying to be a little more selfless than I have been. Why don't you read my DM? I always respond to you, girl. You asked me to bring you a plate for Thanksgiving. What you think I was gonna say? um, Adults' understanding is completely off. I hear you. Adults are a mess. They are. We do have a lot of pride in, like, I'm guilty of that myself. So it's not like I can sit here and be like, they. Like, I have my moments too. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm all perfect, because I sure am not. But I will be the first one to admit that. That's for sure. I love you and Travis. I'm so happy for you. Thank you so much. He really is the best. He is. He is. He is the biggest blessing. So what do you guys have any questions for me? Oh, how long do you want to be at your current job? Good question. You guys, I love my job. I do. But I'm not gonna lie, like, I really want to do like YouTube full time. I really feel like, oh, I was saying earlier about, I was talking about purpose and stuff, and I feel like I've been on this hunt, I've been on this mission to figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life. Because it's so hard. Like, I don't want to do hair for the rest of my life. I love the clients that I have now, but I kind of want to keep it there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind going to the salon. I actually really, I adore my clients. I love and adore my coworkers. Like, we're family. But I really want to do YouTube full time. And I want to grow my business as my LIMELIFE by ALCONE, because I love their skincare. It has transformed my skin. So I really want to start building a team for LIMELIFE by ALCONE, and then the Red Aspen nails. I'm obsessed with these things. Obsessed. Which I'm actually going to be changing them out on one of the lives. And my macro coaching, fitness is in my blood. Fitness is who I am. It's like part of me. So I feel like mind, body, beauty, I feel like it's all related. Yeah, combine them. I want to combine them. Like, to me, it's all one and the same. Like, take care of your body, take care of your skin, take care of your, do yourself up. Like, put your makeup on, do your nails. Like, just feel good. What motivates you to keep a positive spirit? Um, Real quick, let me finish my thought, because I always go off on these tangents and forget what I was talking about. So, I don't necessarily, like, I want to do YouTube and build those businesses. I honestly, the boutique, here's the thing about the boutique. I love my clothes in my boutique, but it doesn't give me life, you know? Like, doing the boutique doesn't give me life. And I'm learning that, and it's kind of been a really hard pill for me to swallow, because I'm so not consistent with posting the boutique stuff. And I'm so not interested in doing photo shoots constantly. I'm really not. So I think that has been kind of hard for me, because I put so much money into the boutique, like, it's insane. And I really, like, and that's one of my problems, actually. When I do something, I do it. You know what I mean? Like, I will throw all the money at it. And I just feel like I failed because I did all of that, and now I don't want to do that as much anymore. Like, I'm kind of keeping it steady, where I'm not really pushing it, but if people order, then of course I'm gonna fill the order, but I'm not gonna buy new things. And I put a few more things up on the website for Black Friday sale and everything, that I haven't put up yet, but it just doesn't give me life. And that's one thing that I learned, and it's embarrassing to do that publicly, but at the same time, it's one of those things where you're never going to know unless you try. I said that in my last live. Sometimes you just have to try things, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And it's not that it's not working, because I loved the clothes that I got. Like, and people, I feel like, thank you, you love the boutique. I love the stuff that I have. I love it. And I feel like I did a really good job picking things. But again, I just don't feel like doing that for the rest of my life is really bringing me life. Am I still auditioning? Yes, I do audition, but I haven't done as many ever since my hair, because my hair is jacked. Like, this woman effed me all the way up, and I just don't feel, especially because I did a little bit more damage than I probably should have, but I'm just gonna wait until my hair grows out to go hard with that further. But I do love doing that, and that's just a side thing. Like, that's not doing the modeling and the acting and stuff is not something that I want to do, like, as a career. It's just fun. You gave it your best. It's great you're being honest with yourself. Thank you. It was hard to swallow that pill, but I'm glad I did it, because I learned a lot. I learned so much, but spent so much money, and it actually put me in a bad position, but it was a learning experience. It's just not a passion you thought it would be. It's okay, you tried. Yeah, and that's, you just gotta try. I love your I love that you're gonna be coaching. I definitely feel that is your calling. God bless you with that. Thank you. I wish I would have known about I don't know why I never thought about macro coaching years ago, because I honestly should have been doing that like 8 years ago when I started counting my macros in the first place. Okay, so you almost make me feel like I can try online dating again. I gave up. I understand why you gave up. I do, but they're out there. And I think the thing that made me decide to try it was, everyone's like, you need to get out, you need to da 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 da. But I'm like, I finally came to the realization, or I became comfortable with the fact that I'm an introvert, and I like that about myself. I'm no longer ashamed of it. I don't feel like I need to make excuses about it anymore. It just is what it is. And I don't want to meet somebody who wants to go out all the time, because I don't want to go out all the time. So I realized that most people like me are not going to be out and about anyway because we're introverts. So I'm like, my best bet is probably just to allow myself to be open to dating online. So I decided to really give it a chance. I was actually going to do like a full on, like, I was going to go on dates. I was going to tell y'all about everything, okay? I was going to try not to say no to most people unless my spirit was like, I was going to go on a date. So if I didn't have that siren going off, then I was going to go. But Travis was the first guy that I actually went on a date. He's the first one that actually asked me out. And he's the best. I would definitely just pay attention to your spirit. Make sure that you're listening. You gotta listen. If you feel anything inside you that's like, ooh, and there's such a big difference, and there's a fine line between, ooh, I'm just really nervous and I don't want to do this because I hate dating, versus, murder alert, murder alert. There's a fine line. But you just have to be really spiritually sensitive. Okay, so back to your question. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Liratu J. Molikau. Whoa, Malikoa. Sorry. What motivates you to keep a positive spirit? I think because I've spent so many years being so negative. And I know how miserable that is. And the thing that, okay, so I told you guys this in a vlog, and you might not remember, or those of you who may not have seen that vlog. Oh, sorry. I was very, very negative, and I remember one day at work, like, I was just complaining, like, as usual. I was complaining about everything, and I had this client who was, like, so annoyingly positive. And, like, when you're a negative person, anybody who's, like, really positive is freaking annoying. So I was just like, this chick, but she was like one of those, I could tell that she was like one of those people that pretends like everything's jolly and it really isn't. Like, I could just see it in her eyes, you know what I mean? You can see that stuff. But I remember I was talking to my coworker Amy, and I was like, man, I should try to be like that. Like, I should try for 1 week to just be positive about everything and just see what happens, because we were just making fun of the fact that, like, I was just laughing about how she's positive, not making fun of her, because, like, I really liked her, but just saying, like, I should just be really annoyingly positive all the time. I'm gonna do it for 1 week. So it started out like that. So, like, instead of complaining, I would just be like, praise the Lord, 3 clients canceled today, but hallelujah. Or like, just anything that happened. Oh, yippee, my car broke down today. Don't you just love that? Everything happens for a reason. So I would just be like really annoyingly positive, and instead of complaining about everything, I would just joke around. Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. I would just be silly about it and just be like, oh, awesome, I'm broke today. Isn't it so wonderful? But you know what? God is faithful and He's going to provide. And I would just start doing that. And then, I don't know, after a week, I actually noticed a difference in how I felt. Like, it was significant because I remember going to Amy and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I know that I've been like kind of sarcastic and kind of annoyingly, like, kind of a smartass about it. But I was like, I could feel the difference in how like my head felt, like how my spirit felt when I was annoyingly positive versus when I was just like straight up negative. So I got to a point to where I just kept it up. I decided to keep on going. Anytime something bad happened, praise the Lord, God, everything works out. You know, all good, all things work for the good. Those who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. God is in control. He is my provider. I'm not gonna have to worry about anything. And I just started like constantly just saying those things instead of complaining about my situation. And until it got to the point, like until it pounded into me, like, so now, like, life is hard right now. Life is hard. Specifically, to be very honest, finances are a challenge for me right now. And it's easy. Like, I have my moments. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like, I have moments where I cry. And wait, who else? Let me see. Oh gosh, no, we didn't break up. No, 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 no. I just read that. Someone asked if Travis and I broke up. No, absolutely not. Um, so I have moments where I cry, and I'll take my moments. I'll cry to the Lord. I'll spend the whole day in bed and cry and feel sorry for myself for a day. But then I'll pick it back up and be like, you know what? I had my time. I had my cry, and today I'm just gonna keep pushing because I truly, in my soul, in the depths of my soul, know that God has my back. And whatever is happening here is happening to refine me. It is not to punish me. It is not to, you know, it's a negative situation, but there is a purpose in it. So I think that when we think about things in that way, like everything. So I'm late for work. Oh, this sucks. I'm late for work, but what did God prevent me from? You know what I mean? Like, you just don't know. And there's just so many times where like negative things happen, or we're late for work, or this happens or that happens, and you don't know what you were protected from. So instead of thinking about it as a negative thing, like, it just is what it is. Like, obviously, if you're just someone who's always late, you need to work on that. But if you're in a situation where you just happen to be late that time, then just think of it like, what was prevented? Everything happens for a reason. You can't change what happens to you. You can only control what you can control. So if you're doing your part and you're working hard and you're, seeking God and you're doing all those things, then you don't have to worry about anything. And sometimes things happen that are shitty. And sometimes you are really frustrated with your circumstances and you have to make decisions that you really don't want to make. You have to do those things that you really don't want to do. But there is purpose. There is purpose. And it sucks, but there's purpose. And I think looking at it that way, like, it's only temporary. Everything is temporary. My sister got married to someone she met online. A lot of people meet people online these days. I hate online dating. I'm also an introvert, but unfortunately the guys I meet, I really have to question the way they choose people for you. I agree with that. What are you using? What have you tried? I have to say, I liked Bumble a lot. I liked OK Cupid, which I didn't do that one very much. I think so I went on OK Cupid because I know a couple who met on there, and I actually think they're a really cool couple. So I went on there and I actually liked their format. I liked how they did like they ask questions. I forgot how it is now, but it's like um do you smoke? Do you care if the person that you're with smokes? And that was an absolute, like, I do not smoke. I do not like smoking. Like, no. So you get to see their answers too. Like, do you smoke weed? Yes, no, a little bit, sometimes. Do you care if the other person or the person that you date smokes? Yes, no, I don't really care, or, whatever the things are. And then there's like, do you have kids? Yes, no, maybe. Do you want the person you're with to have kids? Yes, no, I don't care, absolutely not, whatever. And then it allows you to kind of like get to know them a little bit better without getting to know them yet, and more in depth, like things that people don't look like they think it's not a big deal, but it really is a big deal. Like smoking to me is a big deal. Like if you're a smoker, you smoke cigarettes, that's an absolute no for me. And even weed, I'm not a no, I don't like that, as unattractive to me, like no. um I'm getting a divorce and I'm brokenhearted and lonely. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that. I would not wish divorce on my worst enemy. But again, like it's so hard to say this because I think when you're going through a hard time, I hate when people try to minimize what you're feeling. I hate that. That's a pet peeve of mine. Because your situation is hard. You're feeling broken. You're feeling lonely, and you have to allow yourself to feel what you need to feel. Just know in your spirit, regardless of how you're feeling, just know that there is purpose and God is with you, and this is only temporary. Emotions are so temporary, and you might have to go through a really extensive healing process, but it is going to free you in a way that you have never been free. Like, not even just in regards to the relationship, just emotionally, mentally. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. It makes you a different person in the best way. So just remember that, like, in all your hard times. And if you ever need to vent, don't hesitate to DM me, because I will listen. See you later. We'll catch up next time. See ya. Praying for you, Linda. Been through divorce, and it's rough. Oh, I pronounced your name correctly. Good. I didn't think I got that one. All right, let's see what else here. Our words have power. Absolutely. So much more power than people even realize or even want to admit. Like, it is detrimental. It can either give you life or death. Life or death is in the power of the tongue. Like, that is not a joke. Tests are given to see what's in our hearts. Absolutely. Tests allow us to see if we're trusting ourselves or the Heavenly Father. Ain't that the truth? Man. And also, like, I think about Abraham and Isaac. Like he had to be willing to kill his own son. Like, he had to be willing. Like, sometimes God doesn't even make us go through with things, but he just wants to see if we're willing. Like, are you willing? And like, how many of us are actually willing? It's so easy to be on the outside looking in and be like, oh, I would do anything for God. But when the rubber meets the road, are you really willing? Sometimes it's a lot easier said than done. But when the Lord really asks you to give up something that means so much to you, how easily are you going to let go? It's not that easy. But that's where we're refined the most, and that's where God blesses the most. Exactly. I'm always thanking God for protecting me when things don't go my way. Absolutely. And that's the thing too about like what we think we want. We don't know what we really want. Like, our desires change constantly. Only God knows exactly what we want. So if you're seeking God, then he, like, I wanted a boutique. Actually, I didn't want a boutique. But then I think that I think it was an important lesson for me, but I think that I got ahead of myself with that one. But like, we think we want this, but like, we don't even know ourselves as much as God knows us. So like, we think we want something, but like, you have to make sure that God is leading you to that thing, or just waiting on God, because he knows what we want more than we do. And on top of that, God uses our struggles to minister to others, and we all know the saying, how can we have a testimony without a test? Oof, ain't that the truth? Have you tried Christian dating sites? Would you recommend them? Oh, I did. Okay, so the last time I did online dating before this past time, I'm not online dating anymore, obviously. But it was like 2009 or 2010, and I went on Christian Mingle. Was that it? Yeah. And that one was a mess. I don't know how it is now, but that one was interesting. Like, you get all the self righteousness on that site. Like, I had a picture of me, like, looking over my shoulder. It was just like this picture I took with me and Andre. I did this like random photo shoot one day, and this guy was like, "You're celebrating your sin by showing your tattoo." I'm like, if you don't get off my page, mug. Like, if you, I let him have it, but I let him have it in a respectful, like, I told him off without cussing kind of way, and use scripture to back it up kind of way. That one was a mess. I hesitate to use Christian sites just because of that, but I wouldn't knock them either, because I think you're always gonna find the negative ones in any place that you go. And I feel like people who truly love the Lord would most likely be on one of those sites as well as maybe something else like Bumble or something like that. So I wouldn't cross it out. I would try a couple of them at one time. Like, I really liked Bumble because the woman has the power. Like, the woman, like, not the woman has the power, that sounded really bad. But the woman is the one that starts the conversation. So because you can get hit up all the time and get connected all the time, but like, you don't get blown up. Like, as a woman, sometimes it's like, hey baby, hey shot, hey, and it's like, oh, like, no, leave me alone. But you really get a chance to, like, you can swipe right and you can decide whether you really want to reach out to the person or not. So I really liked that. And then I liked, like I said, I forgot what it's called now. Oh my gosh, I'm so old. I would probably not knock Christian Mingle. Match.com was an interesting experience. I even did Black People Meet. I did Black People Meet. That one was actually not a bad experience. I didn't go on dates with any of these people. I never felt like super comfortable. Who did I meet? Where did I meet him? I met this one guy who was so nice. He was such a nice. I don't. Obviously, it happened for a reason. Like, I didn't go on a date with him for a reason, but he was so sweet. And he even, like, he wanted to meet me, but at the time, my best friend at the time lived in Delaware, and he was in Philly, and he wanted to meet me. So he was like, you can come and I'll fly you out here. You can hang out with your best friend, and then just meet me at a coffee shop. You can bring her, and we can just meet, and then you can spend the rest of the weekend with your friend. And I was just like, oh, I'm gonna pray about it. I don't know. And I think it was one of those things where he was like super awkward because he was just nervous, maybe, to have, like, some people just are awkward on phone conversations, and the phone conversation was so weird. It wasn't weird, it was just uncomfortable, and it was like just a lot of silence and just like randomness, and I could tell he was really uncomfortable. But I think that it made me afraid to meet him. I hate dating, so I was easily afraid and easily scared off. But I told him that I just didn't feel in my spirit that it was a right decision for me to fly all the way out there for that. And I didn't want to take advantage of it. Like, I don't want you to buy me a plane ticket when I feel like this. Like, that's not fair. I'm not that girl. But he bought the plane ticket anyway, and he texted me. He was like, well, the ticket is there. It's in your name if you change your mind. I'm like, oh, so sweet. You can meet some really good guys. But I didn't go. Doesn't Travis smoke though? No. He actually does hookah every now and then. Like, just he's been doing CBD because he has he has plantar fasciitis, and then he has a shoulder injury from when he did play basketball that one time. Like he really he hurt his shoulder. So his plantar fasciitis has been so bad. Like there have been days where he literally couldn't even walk. Like he would limp to the bathroom and he almost had to get crutches. So the CBD actually really helps. So he's been smoking that. But I actually don't mind that. Like that hookah, I used to be super against hookah, but it's different. It's not like, I mean, they do have some tobacco hookah, I think. I don't know a lot about it, um but it's a little bit different. It's not like, and he doesn't do it all the time either. And God puts us through difficult times so we can lean on him, turn to him. I'll be honest, and my faith is turn to him. I'll be honest, and my faith is strong because of the struggles I face in life. Honestly, I mean, that's real. Yeah, Travis doesn't smoke, just a little hookah. Despise not small beginnings. Yeah, you're right about that. It's so hard though. Y'all just want to make it out here. Hey, I'm from probably the youngest kinfolk on here. Hey, Court Marie. Hookah, but maybe not cigarettes, yeah. Hi, Shauna, what are we talking about? What aren't we talking about? I think we're talking about everything on here. We have to be willing to die to ourselves. That is very true. I've died quite a few deaths to myself. Is that one of the kitties? You can hear him. Peaches and Sparkles specifically, they snore. Like Sparkles will be they both will be under the bed, like straight up snoring. It's really funny, really cute. You needed that word. I'm really glad that it blessed you. I needed to share it because that helped me. It really did. Melly December, my comment was for you. I've seen hookah. Is Travis a Christian? Absolutely. Absolutely. He definitely is. He loves the Lord, but he has the same kind of feelings about things that I do. When are you going back to church? I don't know, honestly. I have a very strong opinion about church as an organization. Church to me is community, it is the people. So, church to me isn't necessarily a specific organization. So, for me, in order to fellowship, I don't feel the need to go to an organization and sit in a crowd of strangers. That to me is not church. That's not community. Do I love the worship? Absolutely. Do I enjoy the sermon and get a lot from the sermon? Absolutely. But I don't feel like going to the building on Sunday morning matters more than communing with your people, the people of God who you actually have strong connections and relationships with and can minister and help and, guide each other. Like to me, the church is like us. We're the church. Or my worship family that I sing with, like, sorry guys, like Missy and Geraldine and Gabrielle and Morgan and Mackenzie and Amy and like all those people that you guys have seen in my vlogs. Like those are my church. That's my church. And even Pastor Kurt, like at the other campus that I went to, like my people, like that's my church. I just have a different, and listen, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that church as an organization is wrong, because I think you need to do whatever you feel like you need to do. That's between you and the Lord. But for me, I don't know. Like and I told the Lord, I said I'm open. Like I will go wherever the Lord leads me. And I've always felt this way, but the Lord has led me to particular organizations to go to. He's led me there before. That's why I went to the first church I was at, and I was a youth leader, and I sang on the worship team there, and that was the first worship team I ever sang on. and then I went to another church, and then I went to Heartland, and that was the last one. But the Lord led me to those places. I didn't want to go. But if the Lord leads me to another church, I will go. Until then, I just get fed on a daily. Thanks. I'm scared to online date because I'm so shy and such an introvert. I get that. But the cool thing about it is like you can text through the app with people and like really kind of develop a little bit of a connection before you meet them. And you can learn a lot about people just by texting them. I had one guy, actually, when we were in Dallas, I was in Dallas with Missy and Geraldine was there. Who else? Morgan and Mackenzie. I think that when we went to go visit one of our friends there, and I met a couple of guys I was texting with while I was there, and one of them like you can call. I think you can. I don't know if it's call or FaceTime, but I think you can do both. You can text, you can call, or you can FaceTime with the person on the dating app. And I didn't answer, and he got like, why aren't you answering my call? Where have you been? Oh, finally you respond. I don't know you. What? Like, what? Yeah, this is a strong no. So you can learn a lot about people doing that and discern whether you want to get to know them further based on your interactions via texting. When is Travis going back to work? He is getting paid, so I don't know. He's on medical leave and he's still getting the money. So yeah. Plantar fasciitis sucks. I have it too. Yeah, I guess I never really I've heard of people having it, but I didn't realize how bad it was until Travis. It's rough. Hookah is tobacco, but thanks for clarifying. Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about hookah. Well, was Travis unemployed when you met him? He seems to enjoy fishing. No, he's not unemployed. You must be one of them. He is not unemployed. He is not unemployed. Okay? Like, you want me to spell it out in sign language for you? He loves fishing. He's passionate about fishing. The Bible says we should fellowship together. The Bible does say we should fellowship together. That's why I said I fellowship with my people. I don't need to fellowship with a bunch of strangers because I'm not going to That's the thing. That's the thing about church. Like, just because you go to the building doesn't mean that you even fellowship with anybody. Like, sitting there in the crowd doesn't mean you're fellowshipping. It means you're sitting in a crowd, singing and listening to the sermon. When you fellowship with somebody, you actually converse, you actually have conversation, and that doesn't always happen. For introverts like me, I'm not just gonna open up and just talk to just anybody. Like, it's just not for everybody, and that's okay. Sorry I stepped away. I care for my dad. Oh yeah, I seen hookah. I just buy cigarettes, me too. We are supposed to be around other Christians. It helps, yes. And that's why I'm saying I've been around my people who are Christians. Okay. Totally agree. I agree with you, Shauna. Church is the people. Spiritual, not religious. I always say this, absolutely. I 1,000,000% agree. And fashion, hair, makeup trends seems to think we're all wrong. That's okay, because we can agree to disagree, because honestly, in the grand scheme of things, like, it's between me and the Lord, and that's all that matters. The church is in us. Absolutely. We don't have to go to a building to have church. Absolutely. Because just because you stand in a garage doesn't make you a car. You can go to church every Sunday. You can go to church on Wednesday. You can go to church on Saturday. You can go to church on Monday, Thursday, every day. But that don't mean you're a strong woman of God. What do you do at home? What do you do behind closed doors? Who are your people? Who are your people? Like, that's what matters. Do you listen to God when he's talking? Do you know how to hear God's voice? Like, do you read the word? Do you practice the word? Are you a good person? Do you go on other people's pages and judge other people? That's what matters. I do agree with that it's important to fellowship in person. I will give you that. I do agree with that. But I think that it's important to understand that going to the building, you know, doesn't mean that you're fellowshipping. Exactly. I receive my spiritual feeding daily, either first thing in the morning or later in the evening before dinner. Yeah. I can't wake up without reading a devotional and spending my time with the Lord. And I can't go to bed without reading a devotional and spending time with the Lord. I spend time with Him before I go to sleep to protect my dreams and when I wake up, because I need Him that much. And all throughout the day, like, God is constantly with me. Like, constantly. I'm always talking to Him. Cigarettes and hookah have the same ingredients. Do they really? I did not realize that. I mean, I know there's a little bit of tobacco in some hookah, but I think I don't know how it works. Will you let us hear your singing voice on live or on your blog channel? Maybe. Would love to hear you sing. Oh man, you guys have been asking me this for so long. I am not, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not that great of a singer. I'm really not. Like, I love singing and I can hold it down for my part. So like singing with a group, I can hold it down. But I'm really not that great of a singer, like as a solo, like as a soloist. I'm really not. I'm really not. And I'm not just saying that to be humble either. Like, I'm just really not. I have my moments, but I'm not like Gabrielle or Missy. Like, Missy can blow. That woman has vocal cords of an angel. Okay? She really does. And she's got the heart to match it. Okay, that was definitely a big old red flag. What was a big red flag? Let's see. Agree church brings community, but you can create that at home, especially in those COVID times. Absolutely. Why does it matter to them what Travis does? I have no clue. Sometimes, like, and that's the thing, like, I really wish that the people who say negative things, like, I wish that the reality was that they were genuinely concerned, because I don't think that they are. Like, that's the thing that's hard. It's like, I feel like this world is already hard enough. Life is really already hard enough, and there's so many critics out there. Like, why is it necessary to go, like, I never understood that about anybody. Like, anybody's channel, you go in their comments and there's gonna be somebody, you know? But like, what's the point? I really don't get it. I don't understand. I'll never understand that. What's the point? And if you don't like something that somebody does, like, why does anybody feel the need to express their opinion on somebody's blog page? Like, why? Why does everybody feel like they have to express their opinion? You know what I mean? See, Peaches even agrees, right, Puppy? Right, Puppy?
Oh, this is my boy. He's sleeping. This is my big boy. Look how cute you are, Bobby. Oh, look at my little baby. Oh, look at that face. This is my little boy.
See, even Peaches agreed. I didn't even ask him his opinion, but that was a necessary answer. Oh, you thought he was unemployed? No, I've been saying forever that he's not. He's never been unemployed. Travis is very responsible. He's more responsible with money than I am. Hookah is smoother than cigarettes, nor does it have the same amount of nicotine. It is a lot. Yeah, I've smoked cigarettes. I tried to smoke cigarettes when I was in beauty school. Ugh, hate them. But yeah, hookah is very different. Larissa, we also have a pandemic. Going to church in person is dangerous. Fellowship can be done online and within, absolutely. And that is very true. And that's so interesting too. That just clicked in my head. Why is it that, like, people ask you, like, why aren't you going to church? You should be going to church. When are you going back to church? But then, like, you go to see your family or your friends and everyone's like, you're so irresponsible. You shouldn't be getting together with people. And like, did you just tell me I should be going to church? What's the difference? What's the difference? But yeah, we do really have to be careful in these times, unfortunately. The church is full of devils. Yeah, the world is full of devils. But unfortunately, I wish they were, I wish churches were full of more humble and transparent people. I think that's the problem. I feel like everybody, I don't even think that they mean harm. Some people may, some people might. But I feel like people in church are so afraid of being judged and criticized themselves that everybody just portrays this image of perfection, like, oh yes, I walk the walk and I talk the talk, and no one wants to be real and honest and open. And that's not true for everybody, obviously. This is just a generalization. But I feel like if there were more open and vulnerable people, transparent people in churches, then churches would look different. At those mega churches, it won't happen. The conversing part, yeah, it's a little bit more challenging at mega churches for sure. Honestly, like when you get tapped in, like that's why I sang on the worship teams, because if I didn't sing on the worship team, I would be hiding in the crowd and not talking to anybody. But when I got tapped in with the worship ministry, it just forced me. Like I felt like the Lord made me do it. And I'm so glad he did, because it was the best experiences. I did not have a relationship with the Lord until I stopped going to church and read the Bible for myself. Absolutely. And you really learn how to discern. That's one thing my mom always taught me. My mom never forced me to go to church, and I respect her so much for that, because she always said, like, never take my word for it. You go to the Lord and you ask him to show you. So she would give me her opinion, but then she would be like, don't take my word for it. You need to ask the Lord yourself. Yep, you are totally right, from another fellow introvert. It's okay though. I enjoy church, but some of the stuff that comes along with it is flesh. People are people, and sometimes that can become an issue. Absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, even though I can't stand it, I do have that awareness and that understanding that people are just people, and people are flawed. We're all flawed. So even if somebody is a butthole to you and they're at church, it's not, they might not even realize what they're doing. You know what I mean? They might not even realize it. So you kind of have to extend them the same kind of grace that you want extended to you, and even in those situations. And sometimes that's hard to do, but we're all flawed, all of us. And we can all be butts. I can be a butthole. I was a butthole to fashion, hair, and makeup trends when I was frustrated with her. So sorry. I thought you were coming for me. But we can all be buttholes sometimes, and like, it's not even that we mean to be. It's just as humans, we get frustrated sometimes and we just respond emotionally, and that's all that is. I will go to online church if I find one I like. I love Elevation Church. I think Stephen Furtick is my favorite. I really like Transformation Church, Pastor Michael Todd, but his sermons have changed a little bit. Like, I am so, like, what God is doing in his life is really amazing. But I liked his sermons before a little bit better, but I still listen to him sometimes. But Elevation, Stephen Furtick, I love watching. And their worship. Oh. Elevation's worship is amazing. Let's see. I love the choir, so I'll be finding one soon. Yeah, I miss singing with my people, man. And speeding, gossip, saying someone is unemployed is not of the Lord. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's not godly to be making judgments and, like, how about you just pray for me instead? If you feel like he's unemployed, you could message me and be like, I'm a little concerned. You could just, and if people were genuinely concerned for me, if like any of you ever have concern for me, don't put it in the comments. You know what I mean? Like, message me and be like, hey, but you can always tell if someone is coming for you versus when they're genuinely concerned for you. But that's just not the way to go about it. Are you losing weight? Yes, I am. Can you please upload this to YouTube? I am at work and can't listen to it all. I could maybe do that. This one I wasn't planning on it, but I'll probably save it on here. I agree, Shauna. Folks go to church every Sunday, including Bible studies during the week, and still don't act right. True. Hey, Shauna, love you. Love you too, girl. My point is we should fellowship, though at mega churches, I agree it won't happen like that. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess in really small churches, I can see where you're coming from. Like in really small churches, it's a lot easier and people are a lot more welcoming, that's for sure. So if you do, I actually I I love small churches because the people are so much more loving and so much nicer. But I don't like small churches because I'm an introvert. And I like being able to slip out without anybody talking to me, but I'm an introvert. So like it's so everybody's personality is so different and everybody has different needs. I need God all day, every day. Amen. I'm gonna ignore that comment. I welcome God all day, every day. I try my best not to do anything without God's presence. Amen. Missy seems sweet. Missy is so sweet. Missy, Missy, that's my boo. Missy Boo, that's what I call her. Personally, no, they being nosy and messy, yeah. Personally, when I ask, I'm concerned about you, but I see how it can come across as rude. Yeah, it can. And I think, honestly, as an influencer, I think we're hypersensitive maybe to things like that because we get so much like straight, blatant negativity that like approach is everything. So if you are genuinely concerned, like there's a way to do it and you should really pray about that because like if you're genuinely concerned about me, like I'm open to hearing that. Like I appreciate people who truly care about me. It's just, if I feel like you're trying to come for me, I might snap back and I don't want it's that side of me that I'm trying to shake, but sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard. Gabe has a beautiful voice. Yes, she does. Peaches is co-signing. Exactly. He knows what's up. Dating is so infuriating, online or otherwise. Finding someone with the same belief is really hard. It is. It is. Yay, another live. I'm loving these. Thank you for joining. I actually really am enjoying doing them. Amen, Peaches. The red flag was the guy getting upset because you didn't answer on his timeline. Exactly. I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. People don't know what they want. Amen. It is so true. Church peeps can be the least transparent. And I don't know why that is. Why is everybody so afraid for people to know what's going on? I mean, I understand, like, obviously, like I said earlier, some things are not meant to share right away. That I understand. But things that we've gone through, and even I think it depends. Like it depends on the situation. Like if God is telling you to share what you're going through right now, I think that's different. But to share what you've been through, like I don't understand. And maybe it's because I just am a naturally open person. I don't I don't have anything to hide. So everybody's different. But yeah. Did you hear about the famous pastor at Hillsong who cheated on his wife? I didn't actually, no. But again, humans. It's sad. How did you come up with the names for your babies? Oh man. So when my mom lived in the country, she lived in a place called Ellettsville, which is like right outside of Bloomington. It started with one cat, and she was the sweetest cat. And so I didn't live with them. Jason, my mom and my grandfather, Jason was helping my mom take care of my grandfather, and the three of them lived there. And this cat, they started calling her Mama because she was pregnant. And Mama was just the sweetest. So I started feeding her, and she would like greet them when they came home from work and things like that. And then Mama had babies, and Mama had Buffy. There was another cat, Fluffy. There's Trixie, and then there was Rexy. I think that was it. So they named them. My mom and Jason named them. I think Buffy because her color's kind of buff, like a gray buffed out color. There was Trixie. I don't know. I think because her personality was like really spicy, and my mom used to call me Trixie Pixie when I was little. And then Rexy, he had like really huge paws like Peaches. And so they called it like Rexy Tyrannosaurus. I don't know really where that came from. And then there was a Fluffy, and Fluffy was I don't know why they called her Fluffy actually. She was so sweet too. So then Papa Cat would hang around every now and then. He's the one that got Mama pregnant. And then Papa Cat ended up getting Buffy, Fluffy, Trixie, and Mama pregnant. So then all of them had babies. So then Peaches and Peaches Sparkles were in the same litter, and they were with two other cats. So Peaches was called Peaches because he is a peach color. Sparkles was Sparkles because she was like she's a calico, and she was just like a bunch of different colors, so she was just Sparkles. Then there is my mom still has them, Nibbles, and I named Nibbles because I would go for like I moved back home for a little while to help my mom with my grandfather, and for 1 year I couldn't take it more than that, but I would go for long runs in the country, and then I would come home, and then Nibbles would like lick the sweat off my leg. And I'd be like, you just like to nibble, don't you? So I started calling her Nibbles. Then Chauncey, I named Chauncey just because she was so freaking cute. I was like, the name Chauncey is so cute to me. So I was like, Chauncey. I don't know why. Then we had a bunch of other cats. There were so many of them. So that's how they got their names. I always tell really long versions of stories. So I answer your questions in very long, drawn out ways. As a kid, your mom didn't make you go to church. No, she didn't. Well, she did sometimes. For the most part, there was one church that she was affiliated with that I hated it. Oh my gosh, I hated it. I didn't feel like I connected with anybody there. Like the kids were just like, I don't know. They were just those kids where we would like I made friends. I remember one time I made friends with this one girl, and I would go to her house and play whatever, and we would play card games, and I'd be like, dang it, you shouldn't say dang it and the D word are the same thing. So I'd be like, okay. Like, it's just little things like that. I'm like, you're just a little bit much for me. Like, you're not meshing with my personality. Dang it is not a bad word to me. Hell is not a bad word to me. So I can't be around people who don't accept me as who I am. But there were other churches that I did go. I did go to this one church that I liked, and that was like one of the best time. My mom was actually head of the nursery at that church, and I really liked it there because my friends went there, and like we had fun and whatnot. But she never forced it on me, which was good for me because it made me seek it later. Unfortunately, it's not only Hillsong's pastor. Yeah, if I had kids, I'll make them go to church. They are children living in my house following my rules. I wasn't. When I have kids, I'm not gonna make them go to church. Now, what I will do, though, is make them listen to worship music. I will have a requirement for us to read devotionals, read the Bible, like when we first wake up and before we go to bed. Like that kind of stuff to me is not negotiable. Like I will have like, we are going to spend quiet time before we go to bed. We're not going to fall asleep watching TV. We're not going to, you know what I mean? Like things like that. And listening to worship music, like that's absolutely non-negotiable. Like the things that we do day to day are non-negotiable. But whether you want to go to church on Sunday or not, that I'm not going to make them do. Now, there will be times where, like, if I'm going, you're going. But I'm not going to force you to go every week. Because that makes people not want anything to do with, it makes people not want anything to do with God. If you shove something down somebody's throat enough, they're going to reject it later on in life. And that's not what I want. And honestly, my mom knew that. And she knew, like, my personality, I'm just the kind of person, if you force me to do something, I'm not going to, like, it's not going to go over well. But because she didn't force me to do it, it made me just witness her life. And it made me witness, like, it made me want to go to her for things, and I trusted her. I knew she wasn't gonna, like, force feed me anything. And once I got to the point to where I was actually really ready in my spirit, I went to her and told her that I wanted. And then at that point I was living on my own. This is right out of high school. She lived with my grandparents because she was taking care of my grandmother and my grandfather. She would drive 1 hour twice a week. So I actually went to this church called, and that's what just changed my perspective of church in general, going to Willow Creek Church in Barrington, Illinois. She would drive an hour, pick me up because I didn't have a car, take me to church for Bible study on Tuesdays. Then she would drop me home, and then she would drive an hour home. And then on Saturdays, she would come pick me up, take me to church, go to church with me, drop me home, and go home twice a week, because she was so grateful that I finally got to the point to where I wanted to seek God. And she bent over backwards to make sure that I got there. And, that is ministry. That. Like, I praise my mom for that. Buttholes is an amazing word. It is. It is. A few of your followers are just plain raggedy. Girl. I got those few, but man, the rest of you, I love you. Yes, Elevation, love them. Love Elevation. Oh my gosh. A lot of you are co-signing. I go to church home in Washington. It's incredible. I love that the pastor is exactly the same on one-on-one that he is up on stage. That I respect. I respect that. It's not being disrespectful. It's a wonder. It's none of their business. When I want to hear some good Bible teaching, I turn Bishop Patterson's old sermons. I like Todd also, but also found that his sermon pattern has changed. I know. And I hate that because I love his sermon. I loved his delivery, but it has changed. Which is okay. It's just, there's a time and a place, and sometimes the seasons change, and that's okay. But he's still doing his thistle. He is. He's killing it out there. Prophetic Drive Time on YouTube. Love his preachings. Prophetic Drive Time. I have to look that up. Small churches are not easy. Small churches have people that will be, that will be all up in your business and think they're from God. You are not lying about that. Small church can cause big hurt. That is true. Because just like any church, people are people. I tune into Pastor Mike Jr. right now. Oh, my cousin is a pastor and always shouts me out. So embarrassing. That's funny. I love how genuine and honest you are. Thank you. Bye. Fashion, hair, makeup trends. Bye. Bye. Shawty, you're probably one of the most realist, transparent people I have ever met. That's why I started. Oh, thank you. I try. I try. It's hard to pretend to be somebody you're not. It is. It's because you feel like you have to filter all the time. It's too exhausting. I just am who I am. How is Jason and Jimmy? They're really good. Jason is doing his thing. Jason is working hard. He is saving up money to buy a house, and he is thriving. And it is beautiful. Jason had a hard time, like, figuring out what he wanted to do. So now he is doing his thing. So it's really, really cool to see. I haven't seen Jimmy in forever. I see Jason quite a bit. Jimmy is still in Chicago, living with his girlfriend, who I really like a lot, and he's really happy. And I can't wait to see them again. I feel like I haven't seen Jimmy in forever. Wow, Papa Cat was getting it in. Papa was a Rolling Stone. Listen, Papa really was. He was just incestuous. Is that a word? Is that a word? All right, let's see. I lost track with the names. How many cats do you own? I only own 3. So there's Peaches, Buffy. Peaches is the one that you saw. Buffy is right here. My house is a mess. Buffy is right there. Ignore the mess in the background. And then Sparkles, my little Sparkies. And then, gosh, there was Fluffy, Trixie, I said that, Nibbles, Chauncey. There was Buddy. He was, oh, Buddy was, I named him Buddy because he was my buddy, and he got hit by a car, my baby. There was Buddy. There's Twinkles. Jason has Twinkles. There was, oh my gosh, there were so many of them. There were 16 kittens, basically, and then 4 mama cats. What's up, Brew Bay? I stopped going to church for 10 years because I was forced when I started. Yep. Yeah, it really changes when you like have the desire to be there. It's so different. Like when you're forced to be there, you're not even paying attention. Like sometimes you do still get stuff, obviously, when you're just in the presence, but like it's just not the same. I was forced to go to church, which is probably why I struggle with returning. But during this pandemic, my relationship with God is developing. You know, and that's the sad thing. Like parents who force their kids to do things like who force their kids to go to church don't realize how much damage they're actually doing. They think they're exposing their children to God when really they're making them not want anything to do with God. That's what parents do. God bless them. Yeah. That's what my dad did. Us, we listened to gospel music. We attended Bible study and Sunday school, but he never made us attend church because of experience. Yeah. A lot of churches are now heavily into politics and are promoting Trump. I hate that. You know, I don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it, and I don't understand. I feel like everybody should have the right to support whoever they want to support. And if you are Democratic, how does that mean that you don't have a strong relationship with? I don't understand that. Like, how does being a Democrat mean that you don't know Jesus? I don't get that. So like when you partner Republican with Christianity, I just don't understand how that correlates. Then I grew up and gave birth with a pastor. That's funny. Baby question. All right, guys. I don't even know how long it's been, but I know it's been a while. Travis has been down there waiting for me. We're supposed to be watching a show together, but I lost track of time here. But I really enjoy doing this with you guys. So again, it's 1 live stream a day. So tomorrow I will be back on, and I'm trying to think of what time. Is this time work best for you guys? I figure like evening time is probably better because then you guys are off work and things like that. But let me know what you think in regards to the time. So like, I think in the evening I have a meeting that's maybe over at 7, so maybe I can do it at 7-ish. But I love you guys so much. Like, thank you so much for joining me. It makes me so happy to be able to have conversation with you guys. And I might be doing the whole letting you guys come and ask me a question thing. I don't know. I'm so nervous. Some of you I know are gonna be okay. So some of you I think I could do it with, but those of you who I don't really know that well and don't see on here a lot, I might not put you on, but we'll see. But I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night. Thanks for joining me.